Hey, good morning, everybody, and happy Monday. Hope everybody had a great weekend. I had a great weekend and a busy work week, but I'm hoping things are be a little bit better. Busy work week is all relative, I guess. I didn't put out as many videos as I hoped. So let's start a new week, and today I'll be catching up on my Twitter review for the deadlinger.com. Also, they're putting out a new, well, I hope they're putting out a new weekly developer blog. This is actually good news. The Dead Linger, they've tried to stay in contact with the community. I mean, they're becoming more active on the Reddit. They're tweeting, and you can follow them on their Twitter accounts. But now to put a blog up on their website, because when you come to the website, it pretty much says it is the official development blog, and now they're actually going to put some development blog postings up. So that's good, and I like it because I like to kind of see behind the scenes. I think Sony's really started to kind of spoil us, and I don't mean just H1Z1, but like when they started doing Landmark, they started putting up these weekly videos. They're short, but they kind of give some insight to the thinkings and reasonings of why they do things. And then when H1Z1, they're starting to do different things, some story-wise. They got the Survivor Radio, which I'm going to check out again today. The 12-hour dev broadcast, which, all of this is available up on their Twitch, but it kind of gives some behind the scenes and some thinkings into why they're doing things and how they're doing it. Now, it's nice to see that the Dead Linger is starting to do that as well. So I'm not trying to say one is copying the other, but these are great tools to help build and keep interest in the game. To be quite honest, I haven't played the Dead Linger in about a week because it's the same game that I've been playing for a couple of months now. Even after patch 13 came out, there really wasn't much that changed in the game. It was still pretty much the same game. Like, the only thing that really changed for me when I play is they put in bicycles, but the gameplay pretty much is the same. And I'm afraid that's what's going to happen here with the next patch, because the next patch is all about the visuals. And I'm going to tell you, the visuals look great as you start following through on their Twitter posts, and they start putting more pictures up. Some of the things they have are phenomenal. I think will look really good. But I haven't seen a whole lot in like what core gameplay things will be fixed, like duplicating items. And then they've mentioned world generation, so housing should look better, shouldn't be stuck on hills, but should generate on flat land. A great side effect would be two things: the removal of duplicating items, and then if they could fix barricading. And I haven't heard a single thing about barricading, and it would be awesome if you pop in and the world's barricaded. And what would be great about the barricading, if that's fixed and they get rid of duplicating items, is you could barricade up a spot, and then you have to venture forth, find supplies, and come back, because then you would have a legitimate base. And then once your supplies in the surrounding area has been depleted of those supplies, then it's time to move out into the world and explore. And the other thing that would fix that would be the fact that your hunger bar resets after you exit and come back into the game. Because as it stands right now, if I get hungry, I can just exit out of the game, come back in, and my health is replenished. So as the game goes forward and they start sharing these blogs, those are three things. I hope that's three: duplicating items, barricading, and the resetting status bars. Those three things need to be fixed in order to actually make this a survival game. So the graphics are great, but we just need to see just those three core elements fixed. And then we can move on to fixing and adding other stuff. But those are three things I think need to be fixed immediately to actually make this a survival game. All right, so let's take a look here. We're not going to go through the blog. The blog is cool, just a little, but I'm not going to read the whole thing. But what's neat is, seeing trees, and they're working on lighting effects and how the light like they dropped a red flare and they just want to see how the shadows cast and everything. Here was a great picture of when it rains, and they now have some reflection effects in the water, so things look wet. This was really neat. The barn, I'm a big fan of the barn, but now they're working on an even bigger barn. I don't know if it's going to replace the current in-game barn or it will be another barn. I hope they don't take out the current barn, but it would be nice just to see another barn in there as well. And they said this is going to be a lot bigger. It does. It looks huge. And then some military things. No word on if these are items for build 14 or not. But then some concept pictures, a new main menu, going to indicate. They're on Instagram. But let me tell you why this development blog was cool. Not only to give you some previews, but it lets you know that there's actually other people on the team. For the longest time, it's felt like the only people you see are Jeff Keane and Richard Keane. And now on occasion we see some posts from other folks, and now we're getting in this development blog some other names that are mentioned supporting the game. So, as slow as development might be, there are more folks. That's great, So let's see some content come out. I'm ready. This is hitting the 2-month period. I think we're hitting the 2-month period from build 13. So it's almost as if their development is slowing down, not picking up speed. But anyway, let's take a look at some of the tweets here. I went ahead and went down through last week. So on the 11th here, Jeff Keane said, nice Reddit post about Refresh World. I went there and read it, and it talked about the Refresh World, what it's for. I'm not going to go into the whole details, but generally it's kind of what I thought. The refreshing of the world is a chance to flush memory, generate the new content. And so one of the responses was, so this isn't truly a seamless world. No. And they've never said that it was completely seamless. Part of that refresh is to keep the performance up, because the game is generated on the fly. It's not like it's one map and that they just have that entire map loaded. It's actually, as you hit some of these different spots, it's got to create that environment. You might have the seed, and you might say, well, the entire world is generated within that seed, but still, when you hit certain areas, it's got to procedurally generate that content for you. Now, I really don't understand how their process works, and that's their thing. But the refresh is what keeps it all running smoothly. And for me, I will admit, when Build 13 came out, the refresh was fixed dramatically. It went from taking what felt like forever, like a minute. I know a minute is not forever, but when you're in a game and you're just sitting there waiting for something to happen and you got zombies coming at you, 1 minute is a long time. And then at the end of that minute, there was a chance that your game could crash. Refresh used to be terrible. But now for me, if I do head out and explore, the refresh is actually very quick, and it has been very stable lately. So if that's what it takes to keep the game running, and that's what helps generate in the new content, it's fine when I compare that to other games, because it's not a zone system where 2 people get to enter the zone and then there's overflow zones or things like that. It's just the way that they got to keep the game running. So refresh, great. Let's see here. Then Richard Keane also on the 11th. Great idea on instance. I think the LOD was level of detail of Unity game objects should reduce the load on Unity quite a bit. So again, just more game tweaks. He's always got the more technical stuff. I don't have to understand it. And then Jenny, playing with sweet effects, settings, and the dead Linger. Maybe get some nice scenery wallpapers out of this. Here was a picture. So they got a build that they're working on internally. And then here's a picture. None of these pictures really blow up to be like full wallpaper size, but it gives you an idea of some of the ground textures they put in. and then the new trees that they have. So again, pictures of trees. I know I keep mentioning that. Most of the pictures that you see are really focusing on the trees. It's like, okay, this is the tree patch. Richard Keene on the 12th and said today on the Dead Linger, more on the new level of detail system. I think that's what it is. I'm guessing level of detail. Could be line of distance. Who knows? I think it's level of detail. And in my mind, that's putting an emphasis on how far out details are drawn, which actually is a big performance factor. So the farther away you are from something, the less detail it has, and as you get closer to it, the details draw in. So it's finding that visual balance. So if the things that are far away are kind of really low resolution versus things that are up close, that's actually going to help performance because it doesn't have to have everything drawn in that high detail. So that's a good thing. And things that you could be working on is at what point does the high details kick in. I know in some games I play, if you have that kind of a low level of detail, then you pretty much have to be like right on the item before it draws in and gets clear, versus if it's too far away, then you take a big performance hit because your person's looking out. And even though those items are very far away, they have that high level of detail. So this is one of those things that will help improve performance. How close you need to be to see the nice details versus how much your system has to draw in for things that can't even be seen yet. Let's see here. Then on the 12th, survivors. I know a thing or two about, I took the exclamation mark as an I. Know a thing or two about the Dead Linger. Contribute to the official wiki. I haven't been to the official wiki in a long time. I might go back. It's just because the game has had so little added to it, and most everything I need to know I've gotten from, comments and viewers. I've been to the wiki, but everything I've actually practically learned about the game, I learned from you guys. So thank you. You guys are my wiki. Then on the 13th, Richard Keene says today, debug of new systems, trees, terrain, level of detail, and prep for new roads. So again, the trees. Let's see here. And then on the 14th, things are getting pretty spooky. I did like this here. It just seems always appropriate to have a nice nighttime scene, trees, and then make your fire. Let's see here. And then we've got, on the 14th, also Richard put more train work, much reduced memory use. Again, looking at those performance tweaks. Then on the 14th, Richard put, just made Voronoi region, or Voronoi region edges fuzzy. I have no idea. I should Google that. Both terrain, texture, and tree density. And then again, here was the actual, I saw this first before the blog post came out, but here's a picture of the rain and the wet effects. And I like that. That's probably the best screenshot they have shown from their game. If you took out that part of that building and maybe that red flare in the background, they talk about that red flare, that was just a lighting test they did, but if you got rid of some of those awkward elements and just kind of left the picture like this and maybe a little grass, that almost looks like a photograph. That's a really, really good screenshot. That's the best one. So maybe they just need to keep the game completely raining and wet, and it might look really well. Alright, let's take a look here. Then on the 15th, we have Instagram now. Survivors, be sure to follow us. In the blog, it looked like they mentioned something about the Instagram where somebody else actually had a Dead Linger name on Instagram, and they were able to pick it up. So I don't really use Instagram, but might have to check it out now. Richard Keene, putting in the new road models, town roads will be nicer. And we looked last week or the week before, we talked about the roads they're putting in. So it'll be nice to kind of see the new layouts for their towns. And then Jeff Keene said, little birdie told me there's a new weekly blog series coming starting today. Let's see. That was starting on the 16th. which was a Friday. So these things might come out every Friday, which is a great way to kind of summarize their tweets and everything. And then the Dead Linger, hey, Survivor's first weekly blog is out. So that was the mentioning of the blog, which we just kind of went through, which again, I think is great. I hope they keep those coming on a good, consistent weekly basis. More consistent than me. And then Jenny added mobile detection, mobile view to the Dead Linger blog. So I guess more easier to read stuff when you're on the go. Then on the 16th also, there was a little interview put out with Jeff Keane. This was taken from the Salt Lake City Comic-Con. It wasn't anything new that we haven't seen before, but for folks who have not heard of the game, it's a short interview, a couple minutes, which is probably a great way to just introduce the game to folks. So just follow the link and you can watch their little video interview. And then the last one here, let's see here, Chaos 86. Like I said, it's nice to see. Oh, this is at Chaos 86. But the Dead Linger, it's just nice to see the interaction with folks who have questions. So, Chaos 86 is working on color correction for more realistic scenes. Oh, that's the person. Let me see. What else do we got? Okay, yeah. See, I've seen this guy post before on here. But again, like I said, it's nice to see other people who are working on the game contribute, so it doesn't feel so one-sided or two-sided between Jeff and Richard. But anyway, that's just kind of a wrap-up of the things that happened the week that I missed here. Hopefully this week we'll start getting some mentioning of the actual patch or the mini patches that they said they would do. Just be nice to see some of that new content pop into the game. And if nothing else, I'll see if I can put something together on Friday to get this week's, be more in tune with my own weekly update from the Twitter post. So, let me know your feelings on some of the pictures they've put out. Does that renew your interest in the game? I probably won't put out a whole lot of Dead Linger content until the new things come in. So I'm waiting for my interest to be renewed with the actual patch. The pictures do give me some hope that it will look better, but I'm ready to actually see some gameplay improvements too. So let me know your feelings on it and share your thoughts, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.